All right, hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm going to call it 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Matt Statter. This is time for Chatter with Statter. And it looks like we have got a bunch of people coming in from everywhere, including Pecola T, who's coming in from right near my house. In fact, I got a couple pictures from her earlier today, and she was like, "Hey, am I flying over your house right now?" And I said, "No." "Well, yeah, maybe. You'd need to be looking out the other side of the window to see where I live, but you're mighty close." And now it sounds like she is well, I knew she was actually on the ground. It sounds like she might even be off of the airplane and in a vehicle traveling southbound down I-5 in order to hit Tacoma. If you have ever hung out with Terry in Scotland, who is also here, came in with a raid. Terry sometimes drives that route of I-5 in his American Truck Simulator game, and he's very familiar with that route. So let's talk about who is in the house besides Pecola T and Terry in Scotland, both of which are here. I see Shock also in the house, letting everybody know everything. And then we've got Katie Zora coming in with Terry in Scotland, and Penel Writes Things also coming in with Terry. Looks like Darlene is back at home, and I thought she was because she posted a cute little video on her Facebook today where she found a flying squirrel in her garden on the side of her house. Super cute, super tiny. I have never seen a flying squirrel in real life. We do not have those here, but she definitely does in her area. And let's see here. Good timing tonight for a change over here, says Rick. DJ Smook is back in the saddle. And yes, indeedly do. Rated Molly. You got it. All right. Who else we got? We got Mama Sean on the YouTube side. And let's see here. We have Lono Music in the background. We have Kenny from the Cove saying aloha, Statterbucks family. How y'all doing? I'll tell you how I'm doing, Kenny. I am full of allergies today. Boy, howdy. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Well, you'll witness yeah, onward. Let's say hello to more people before I forget my stupidity and allergy-ridden brain what it is we are doing. So let's see here. Terry in Scotland, Pecola T, yes, indeedly do. Hopefully. And then Penel, yes, I think I said hello to Penel, but you know what? I'm going to say hello again just in case. Mama Sean, I think I said hello, but you know what? Just in case. And let's see here. All right. We've got everyone saying hello to everyone. And Terry in Scotland, we're halfway through The Return of the King, the last of the trilogy. Oh, okay. I thought that. Thanks for that heads up, Mama Sean. I thought that you guys had finished that a while ago, but I see you took like 2 times to watch all of the movies, so you actually took like 11 billion days to watch all of that Lord of the Rings. Couldn't even remember what it was you watched. I mean, I was trying to remember. This is the allergies not talking, shall we say. And yes, allergies have been super bad this time around. Oh my goodness. All right, we've got E.T. Guerrero in the house. I'm slowly getting there, getting down. And Beatty Bo said aloha before going to get ready for his flight. Katie, Terry, Penel, anyone who can, where is Bainey going? Because I'm nosy like that, okay? And let's see here. Saw some pretty red sunrises over the last few days with all the smoke. Right, but it ruined the view of the Northern Lights. Oh, I wondered about that, Rick. I wondered about that. And yes, Kenny, tis the season to be sneezing. And all right, we've got E.T. Guerrero Lane coming in. He's going to Turkey. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And I apologize. I know that I don't think I'm pronouncing Turkey properly anymore. I know that they officially changed their. I know that there's. All right, let's try this. You know what? All right, hold on. Okay, we're gonna get the party started. I'm gonna regroup my brain. We're gonna talk about what Katie said. We're gonna talk about what Terry said, and then we're gonna talk about why I need to regroup my brain. Because boy, oh boy, I'm stupid today. All right, but let's get the party started, right? Let's do it. All right, there we have it. Sorry about gulping into my microphone like that. I was finishing the last of my pamplemousse so I could open a brand new can of pamplemousse. I may or may not have a problem with the pamplemousse. But anyway, all right, so up to what Katie said. Bailey's going to Turkey. Turkey, I've noticed recently, has changed the spelling of their name to more reflect what it really should be spelled like, as opposed to the Western way. I'm down with that. But I also, in the back of my head, have it that's pronounced a little bit differently than Turkey, right? The way we normally have pronounced it. And so, if I'm not saying it the proper way, that's because I don't know the proper way. In fact, I'm unsure even if I'm making that little quirk up. So I mean no disrespect. If it indeed is pronounced some way different, I mean no disrespect by calling it Turkey. Long story short, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, Terry, I don't doubt that you are freezing cold or your muscles ache because you're freezing. I have had that happen more than one time due to night sweats. I'll get the night sweats, and then suddenly I'll be freezing while I'm sleeping, and then I'll be shivering, and then I wake up and like muscles that I didn't know I had are suddenly sore, right? Totally sucks when that happens. And Mama Sean's like, oh no, that's why we live in Arizona, so there's no there's no night colds. And let's see here. Beanie Boy and his family are going to Marmaris, okay, a resort on the south coast of Turkey. My neighbor Jesse goes there 3 or 4 times a year. You know, I'm not going to lie. As an American, the idea of going to Turkey terrifies me. Only because of, the movie Midnight Express. I realize that is so totally not the typical experience of an American tourist in Turkey. But not going to lie to you, man. Midnight Express, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, that movie really, I was young when I saw that movie, and it really did leave an impression, and Turkey kind of terrifies me. Their food, not so much. Their history, not so much. Their current, not so. The idea of it scares me. That's all. But a resort, that sounds lovely. And let's see here. The bugs got you this time around, Darlene. Up north, little gnats biting, mosquitoes out now on top. The beginning of tick season. Yes, you're partially chewed. Yuck. You know, lucky. I'm really thankful that the Pacific Northwest. I mean, we do have bugs, but not like every place else has the bugs. And I can only wonder and assume, Darlene and Rick, up north, where you were at, it sounds like there was some very serious smoke. I can only assume actually where you're at, there's still some serious smoke, because it sounds like the smoke warning is going down as far as like Texas. The Canadian wildfires are just, the weather system is just sucking that smoke right down into, I know that Minnesota the entire state of Minnesota is basically the red zone, except for the certain areas that are purple with bad air health quality. And I know that northern Wisconsin also is in a bad situation. So, is it just those northern lake states, or I thought the smoke was traveling down into the Midwest, and like I said, as low as, like, I read that Dallas Fort Worth has got some bad air quality thanks to it's already got bad air quality, but thanks to the Canadian wildfires. And DJ Smoke, you're also getting Saharan dust. Kenny from the Cove, we got that rain last night and this morning. Yeah, Kenny sent me a video of some hail that was pretty insane. And true, Kenny from the Cove, nobody has creepy bugs and creepy crawlers like Australia, but way too many, in comparison to the creepy crawly bugs we have here in Washington, almost every state has creepier, crawlier bugs. Hey, Picola T, good to see you. Glad you could stop in. Thanks for saying hello and aloha, and I'm glad you're here, safe. in Washington, and pop in when you can. Tell your husband and your kids hi. And let's see here. So smoke is moving to the East Coast in a few days, so it'll be clear where you're at. Well, that's good. That's good. And Darlene confirming, yes, we had to watch how much we were outdoors. You had scratchy throat and a cough. Yeah, I've got a scratchy throat and a cough too, but that's not because of the Canadian wildfires yet. I'm sure we'll have some of that eventually. But the pollen, the grass pollen for me right now in this area is so high, and grass is kind of my bad thing. And some years it's so much worse than others, and I have a feeling that this year is going to be one of those epic years. I thought I was getting sick yesterday, but then I realized, wait, this is when my worst allergies happen. And I looked at the pollen counts and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm sick. I think I'm allergy ridden, and I'm still thinking I'm allergy ridden, mostly from the stupidity, the brain fog, and then the random sneezing attacks, but mostly the stupidity and the brain frog. Did I mention the stupidity and the brain frog? The brain frog? Yeah, that too, the brain frog. Let's do this. All right. We've actually had 3 days of rain this week, and our air quality is great for once. Nice, Mama Sean. Yeah, it's supposed to be super nice here for the next week or so, which means the air quality is just going to get worse, basically. And I'm already looking outside, and it's like, wow, the clouds look a little yellowish tinged, so maybe that's just my imagination. And sheep smoke always gave me a scratchy throat and coughs. That's exactly right, Rick. You got to get the good stuff like the Marlboros. And Terry in Scotland, it's 44 here now on the 5th of June. May was warmer. This happened last year. You're somewhat bummed. Well, yeah, I can't make you feel better. It's 66 here where I'm at. 66, quite a lovely temperature. And not quite summery, but not quite springy. I do enjoy it, yes. And way better than 44. Sorry about that, Terry. That does kind of suck. Alrighty, so let's see here. Let's see, did I miss anything? Okay, yeah, actually, alright, here. Yeah, I didn't really miss this, but I do want to go back to this. DJ Smoke, you said Saharan dust. Now, do you really mean that literally, or are you just saying it's really dusty? It's like the Sahara. Or are you saying that the dust from the actual African desert has flown across the ocean and landed in Texas? Which, by the way, I understand is totally possible. I'm just clarifying, literally getting Saharan dust. Okay, yeah, so it flew up into the upper currents, upper atmosphere, and landed in Texas. All right, wow. Yeah, that's unpleasant. I'm not gonna lie, dude. That sounds unpleasant. I mean, the smoky wildfires, also unpleasant, but for some reason, actual dust from the Sahara seems way more unpleasant than smokiness. And I don't have a real reason to make that judgment. So for those of you who have experienced it, because I'm sure you guys who have been here, as Terry said, yeah, it's happened before. And Kenny's like, yeah, it's actually dust, and it's going to eventually get here to Central Texas. So, for those of you who've lived through the Saharan dust storms before, which do you think is worse to deal with? The dust storms, Saharan or not, but dust storms, or bad air quality from smoke? I feel like the dust storm might be worst. I feel like you need to stay inside for both, either or both. But I wonder, for those of you who actually know, which you think is better or worse. And Mama Sean, I bet having high humidity where you're at, yeah, I bet everybody in your area is probably wanting to peel their skin off It's probably like 75 degrees out, which is freezing for Arizona, but it's a humidity level of like 98, which is unheard of for Arizona. So your bodies just don't even know what to do. It's like, I'm so cold, but I'm so hot at the same time. It feels so stuffy, but I'm still shivery. I can only assume, Mama Sean, that, yeah, Arizonan people are just, their bodies are just like, I don't know how to comprehend this sensation. And let's see here, Darlene, I saw that on the news. Weird, but they said due to the storms and the direction of the wind streams, yeah, the dust is going to be bad. And Terry in Scotland, I think the dust is worse. It has wee microscopic beasties in it. Like I said, I don't know what I'm talking about. And by the way, you can quote me on that all day, every day. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it seems to me like the dust storm would be worse. And Mama Sean, dust storms here are worse than the really bad air quality. Okay, all right, so sometimes I have a vague grasp on reality. Other times not so much, but sometimes. Okay, all right, there we go. All right, so let's see here. You guys have bad dusts. You guys have bad fireys. You guys have all these other things, but you know what you don't have? Well, you might, but you know what Hawaii is not supposed to have? Nope, we're 90 and it's hella humid. Oh, well, that's got to be even worse, dude. And actually, though, Mama Sean, just out of curiosity, what is hella humid for Arizona? And the reason why I ask is Western Washington is remarkably, like, when I think we're super humid, when I think it's like, oh my God, today is so muggy, it's actually not that muggy. It's like, maybe 60, 70% humidity at the most. Western Washington is remarkably, the air is not nearly, in the summer, is not nearly as humid as one would assume. And so I'm just curious for people who are used to, 20 and 30% humidity. Suddenly 60% humidity, I mean, that's twice as humid as you're used to. And that sucks. So I'm curious, like, what is the humidity level right now for you, Mama Sean, that makes you feel so like it's so humid? And like I said, I'm not like, oh, haha, poor you silly non-humidity tolerating Arizonans don't even know what humid is. I mean, I do say that, but only because I'm also saying it to a Western Washington person myself. Like, I think it's so humid, and then I look, and it's like, oh, it's not nearly as humid. Okay, anything above 40, but we were at 75 the first day. Okay, right, yeah. So the people in the South. Okay, all right. So all right. Perfect, Mama Sean. I get what you're saying now. 40 doesn't seem humid to me because that's generally what we're around. What our humidity is around here. 75% humidity, you better believe I would want to be tearing my skin off. I would be feeling so humid. And then I'd be checking my phone and it's like 75% humidity. That's so much. And then I would laugh because it's like all of my friends from Georgia, all of my friends from Florida, Pussycat is probably just like rolled his eyes so far to the back of his skull that he can't access them now. He's like 75% humidity. That's a dry day for us, right? And right, some days you're at 6% humidity. Yeah, that would kill me. My skin would be falling off. I'd be so flippin' dry. But humidity is 86% in Terry, where Terry in Scotland's at. That's what makes it feel so icy cold. Very, very, very true. And so, right, so DJ Smook coming in, Southeast Texas averages 80 to 90% year-round. Factor the temp, heat index can feel as high as 115. Precisely, right, yeah, whereas DJ Smook in Arizona, check this out. I got a blowout tire. I was on a road trip with a couple friends, and we got a blowout tire on our 67 Plymouth Fury, and we were stuck on the Arizona blacktop waiting to get help with our car in 114 degree weather. Now, we didn't know it was 114 degrees until the help came to tell us. And it was hot. Don't get me wrong, it was hot. but it wasn't that hot. Like, you know, we had water, we were drinking, we were staying in the shade as best we could. It wasn't... When we found out that it was 114 degrees, all of our Western Washington lily white skinned, our jaws just dropped. There was no way. But the humidity was so low that it didn't feel like it was 114. Whereas, boom, once the humidity gets boofed up to the hot, you know, up to the high, whoo, boy howdy, man, it can be 80 degrees out and it suddenly feels like it's 115 degrees out. Totally sucks. So Kenny from the Cove, right now we have 68% humidity, making 83 feel like 89. Right, see, and that's usually when, like, that's the type of humidity level, that's the type of scenario that we can get in Western Washington. And that's exactly, it's 83 degrees in Seattle, it's 68% humidity, which really, in the scheme of things, isn't that humid, really. And it feels so much hotter. And I want to tear my skin off. So yeah, humid hot versus humid hot versus humid not, not humid versus whatever. Yeah, are two very different things. Exactly. And, your wife and you lived in lived somewhere in Texas, and it was so humid you had sweat trickling down your crack all day. Yes, exactly. Right, humid hot versus dry hot. Yes, they're completely different things. Very different things. And given the choice, I would rather have a dry hot. If somebody said, where do you want to live, Mississippi or Arizona, I would say Arizona in a heartbeat. I don't want to live actually in either of those places. They both sound way too hot for me. But given the choice, I'd be choosing the Arizonas. And, oh my God, Pinnell, Windsor used to get up to 95 degrees Fahrenheit with 100% humidity, not a cloud in the sky. If I visited from Toronto, I'd get feeling sick. Yeah, I bet. I would just be like, find me air conditioning and just sit me under it, and I will spend the rest of my time there. Yeah, totally. Yep. And, yeah, sometimes high humidity can make you feel like you're walking around in a hot bowl of soup. It's true, and it sort of feels sometimes like it's hard to breathe in high humidity weather for me. And Darlene, indeedly do. I think Texas and Florida are just terrible with their... Yep, But here's the deal, Pinnell, and this is what I don't understand, okay? In theory, I understand the concept of 100% humidity. But what I don't understand is how it can be 100% humid with not a cloud in the sky. Pinnell wrote, Windsor used to get up to 95 degrees Fahrenheit with 100% humidity, not a cloud in the sky. If I visited from Toronto, I'd get feeling sick. How on earth is there 100% humidity with no clouds in the sky? I know that it happens. I'm not arguing your experience or the whatever. I just don't. I always associate humidity with cloud cover. And it just seems... How? And I guess I don't expect you guys to have an answer. And I do expect if one of you does have an answer, I won't understand it. So I don't really know why I'm asking. But here we are. And Terry in Scotland, you can only see in one direction in Mississippi, and that's straight up. Pine trees cover the entire state. And that's probably one reason why Mississippi is so humid. Because I'll tell you what, I made the mistake once. No, I made the mistake more than once when I was in college. When I lived over the summer break down on campus, you know, it's 1,000 acres of woods that are not old growth, but basically, you know, old growth, but then first growth since old growth harvest. So very thick woods, old, you know, big tree covers. And on a hot day, when you go into the woods, it gets so much hotter. You would think it would be a lot cooler in the woods, but it's not, dude. Every single one of those trees is breathing. And it is breathing out moisture. It's breathing in air and breathing out moisture. And oh, when you go into the woods on a hot day, you just have literally walk into a sauna. And so it makes sense that if Mississippi is covered from the river to whatever with pine trees, and I've heard it is, that, yeah, it would be really, really humid. I've actually heard that Mississippi is quite beautiful because of the forests. It's not a beauty I ever plan on witnessing in person myself, but I have heard it's very beautiful. Never got that in Toronto. It's raining if it's that high here. Windsor is weird that way. Okay, so Pinnell, all right, so good then. Windsor sounds like a weird outlier, right? Because in Toronto, it's raining it's raining if the humidity is that high, right? Yeah. And Kenny from the Cove, come August, we'll really miss the temps and humidity we're having now. Come August, it'll be hotter and more humid than two minks wrestling in an Argyle sock. Yes, probably. Yeah, that sounds sweaty. Two minks in an Argyle sock. All right, so you guys, let's see here. We've got a couple minutes until our Lono listening break. So why don't we take a quick news break, and then when we come back, we can be really judgmental. But Kenny, all those trees in the forest also tend to block a lot of the cooling breezes. Yes, indeed. That is another factor for the trees, at least where I was in the summer, why the trees made it. You didn't catch the trees blocked the breezes coming off of the ocean, for sure. And okay, so Terry is going to help me here. My wife and I got lost in the woods outside Nacogdoches once. We found an armadillo rooting around in the roots of a tree. My wife thought it was a baby dinosaur. Oh, that's so cute. That is so cute. Kenny, what is it that they call the armadillos again? Excuse me. The Pfaffenheffer Forken Spragen. It's not what it's called. Texas German, Texas. What do they call the armadillos in that? Thank you. It's a Panzerschwein, is what it is. Not a dinosaur, silly kitten. It's a Panzerschwein. That's the word. I'm glad you knew what I was saying, even though I was clearly not saying it right. Yeah, tank pig. Exactly. And you would have thought it was a baby dinosaur too. There you go. Oh, speaking of baby dinosaurs, shoot, I wish I had this picture. But apparently, I think it's mongoose. When a mongoose is like running, if you take a picture of a mongoose that's like running, they generally run like sort of with their nose down and their tails up in this very distinct position. But if you don't know which end of the beast you're looking at, the tail ends up looking like the neck and the head. And so it looks like from backwards, it looks like a bunch of little baby dinosaurs that are like this tall. You can see them on the interwebs. I wish I had this picture to explain to you, but it's really quite cute to see like a herd of baby dinosaurs. They look like little baby brontosauruses, but actually they're just mongoose or mongoose or mongooses. Not quite sure. I'll have to get you a picture of this to show you what I'm talking about, but it always makes me giggle because they just do look like little baby dinosaurs. And speaking of baby dinosaurs, this is not a baby dinosaur, and I think it's super cute. But I also am highly offended. Oh, maybe it was the Quatimundus. I've seen a bunch of Quatimundus that looked like a herd of brontosauruses. Okay, yeah, you know what? I think Kenny's got the right aminal. But since I'm 99% sure Kenny's got the right animal. But since even though reading that word, I'm like, oh yeah, I've read that word before. Until I reread that word, I don't really, yeah. So I think that's what I was talking about. Thanks, Kenny. Um, now, this does not, though, look like a baby dinosaur, but it kind of is a baby dinosaur in its own weird way. And I think it's super cute. But lots of people don't think it's cute. And even though I think it's super cute, it's very pretty, actually. It's not cute where it was found. Like, patently not flippin' cute. Like, really not cute. So, I'm just gonna be judgmental and say this person sucks, and you guys should not be this person, so let's do it.
What a Kaimuki homeowner thought was a kid's toy ended up being a real-life snake. The homeowner spotted it Sunday afternoon in his backyard, and he thought that was a toy. When he saw it moving later that night, he called police. Agriculture officials. The snake, a venomous ball python that was likely someone's escaped pet. Snakes are illegal in Hawaii.
Oh, good Lord, that was not a very smooth transition. But, like I said, now it's time to be judgmental and we can point fingers at people. Don't be doing this, y'all. Now, first off, it's not any surprise that it's a richer neighborhood that you find one of these exotic animals in. But, hey, Teeter, good to see you. And hey, Trail Desk, good to see you. Let's see here. EU, says Elaine. Well, I think that the snake is very cute. I love ball pythons. But that was probably a full-grown ball python. Looks like it was very well fed. It obviously was someone's escaped pet. But the reality is, as good of an owner as you think you are, snakes, by definition, are escape artists. I've never met a snake that hasn't found a way out of its enclosure. And sure, it's non-venomous, awesome, good. And if it doesn't have a breeding partner, then it can only live so long and only do so much damage. But what if it did have a breeding partner, right? What if another snake had gotten out that was a female and that one's a male, or vice versa? I don't know which was which. I feel very angry at people who feel like the rules do not apply to them. And I understand that there's a lot of people, myself included, who do think that the rules don't apply to them in a lot of different ways. But when it comes to island biodiversity and island sacredness, etc., and I'm talking any and all islands. I'm talking Vancouver Island. I'm talking Whidbey Island. I'm talking the United Kingdom. I'm talking Hawaii Islands. I'm talking Australia. I'm talking New Zealand. You know, islands don't have specific species, and they need to stay that way. And they actually do have snakes in Ireland, a non-native species. That doesn't surprise me at all. Of course there's still snakes in Ireland. Or not still. Again, someone reintroduced them. Let's see here. Have I ever seen a bald python wearing a toupee? No, but I don't think I've ever seen a bald python. I've seen a ball python, like a B-A-L-L, because they curl up in balls. That's why they're called a ball python. Is there such thing as a bald python? Or aren't all pythons technically bald? Because I don't think any of them have hair, right? And Darlene, Rick had to take on a determined chipmunk this time north. The little bugger wouldn't give up his destruction, digging up the front of the cabin yard. Persistent little bugger. But Rick finally won with a ton of rocks, blocking all of his digging routes. Oh. Darlene, do you really think Rick won? Do you really think Rick won? Or do you think the next time you come up, you're going to find a whole new set of tunnels? I would like to hear how this continues on. Because I feel like the battle might have been won, but the war, that still remains, that's still to be determined, I'm thinking, huh? And yeah, Pinnell, people who keep wild pets are dumb. And in defense of folks who have snakes, I used to have one. I did not procure one on purpose. One of my friends was completely neglectful, and I just had to take it off of his hands because I couldn't bear to see an animal suffering. So there you go. But a lot of snakes aren't wild creatures anymore. You know, they're bred. They don't. Now, chances are they could do fine in the wild, but they're not necessarily wild. But I fully, and I'd rather that people didn't breed them either. But I would rather people, if they want the snakes, have the bred ones than the ones taken from the wild. But if you're gonna do that, you need to make sure that it doesn't get out. It's just not good for anybody. Yeah, it's just yeah. And let's see here. Hold on. You want to be with an animal that ain't from here? Go where they come from, visit them, and then leave them there. Don't bring them back. If you love them that much, then go where they live. Yeah, exactly. And Terry's coming in with, in 2025, a snake was discovered on Clare Island in County Mayo, marking the first time a snake has been found in Ireland. This discovery has sparked debate on how to handle the situation, as Ireland's climate is generally unsuitable for sustaining snake populations. Despite the lack of native snakes, pet snakes have been kept in Ireland, sometimes as status symbols. Right, yeah, exactly. And that is obviously what the person in Kaimuki was doing. You know, he's keeping this snake as a secret status symbol, basically. And absolutely, you know, if you're going to keep, this much I can tell you, if you're going to keep a python, the ball python is the type to keep, because they only get 4 or 5 feet at the most. They barely eat big rats, right? But at the same time, they still eat rats and big rats. And so I don't know what native rodent there is on Hawaii that doesn't need to be eaten by snakes, but I'm pretty sure there's got to be one. And I'm pretty sure that a ball python, if it got loose, would eat 1 or 2 or 80 or however many. And let's see here. Where was St. Patrick when that discovery was made? Slacker Saint. The legend of St. Patrick driving all the snakes into the sea is a myth. There were never any snakes in Ireland to begin with. Instead, snakes have often served as an allegory for paganism, which St. Patrick said to have banished when he brought Christianity to Ireland. Yes, and we all know that that's actually a lot of a laugh, because no country converts all at once in its totality ever. You know there's going to be practitioners underground. So, yeah, you know. He brought Christianity to Ireland. No, it's not really how it happened, but that's what they like to say. And though I thought there weren't any snakes in Hawaii, but when we were visiting and swimming, there was a small black snake that it had to be removed. Yeah, there is one snake. There's apparently one snake that is in Hawaii. It's called a flower pot snake. Obviously, that's not its scientific name, but I want to say it's called the flower pot snake. It's black, and apparently it doesn't have any eyes. And even though the Department of Natural Resources is really not stoked that it's there, it apparently is like so innocuous that it's not as big of a deal as it could be. But yeah, but they're trying to do their best to make it not a big, make the population as tiny as possible. I think they only eat like bugs and stuff, so it's not like they're a huge problem to the ecosystem, but whatever, dude, you know, yeah, they don't want them there. They don't want them there. And we had a king cobra escape from a Florida zoo and wound up under a dryer in some lady's house along with the escaped monkeys. Okay, so Puzzycat, good to see you here, and I don't know if you were here earlier laughing at our tales of humidity and woe, but we were lamenting our high humidity levels of like 65%. You can point and laugh anytime now. Yeah, but I have to ask you to clarify, my friend. Everything that you just said, I believe, happened in Florida. For sure. I just want to know if you've painted the picture the way you meant to paint it. Okay, so under a dryer was the king cobra, and the monkeys were with the king cobra? Or the monkeys were found elsewhere, but they also escaped during the hurricane? Because the way I'm reading what you just wrote, the cobra and the monkeys were under the dryer, which is interesting because I would think that the cobra would maybe want to bite the monkeys. Then again, if they were all in the escape together, they could have had a plan and they were all working on the same team. So I don't know. So the monkeys were here first, but I'm confused. Okay, so you're getting the Sahara dust too, Puzzycat. Wow, okay. And yeah, you heard the cobra was helping the monkeys fold all the missing socks. Right, exactly. Okay, so Kenny, you read it the same way I did too. It's like, so the cobra and the monkeys were under the dryer? How did the old lady not notice that? Right, from the Silver Springs. That's right. And you guys, to reference back a couple streams ago, maybe just last stream, I was asking whether or not there are monkeys in Florida, in the Everglades. And the answer is no, they're not in the Everglades. But yes, there are monkeys in Florida. No, they are not indigenous to Florida. And yes, they did escape during a hurricane from a zoo or something. Or not a zoo, a different... Anyway, they did escape from an exhibit of some sort. So, but they're hanging out at a lake from the Silver Springs. So Puzzycat came in with all the info that we needed. And further clarifying, no, the snake was the only thing under the dryer. Which makes a lot of sense, and I figured that's what you meant, but I wanted to be sure. Because in Florida, you know what? You never flippin' know. But what we do know is a couple things. First off, we know that C. Honda's in the house, and she's saying, how's it, Matt Statter and crew? And we also know that we are now 5 minutes late for our Lono listening break. So, why don't we listen to some Lono, and then we'll talk more about snakes or spaghetti or something. All right, let's do it.
Kai, hey, Kai. Why am I? Oh, lele, boy, alilani, ano, Kai, Kai. Mao kualua hoa pili ho'olulu. Ai olele ai Hawaii, moe alilani e kapukeia ano. Mahalo no liliu o kalani ka ike nanae mohe ke akua. Aina ke iaoea, auno moni, mahalo no iliu o ka lani. Ka ike nanae, lohe ho mai kai ke akua. Ho'i mai maoli, o maunala, o me mo'i o iwi. Ka nohe havina, o kai, o maunala. Ho'i mai maoli, o maunala, o me mo'i o iwi. Ka nohe ha'awina, o kai, o maunala. O kai, o maunala. O kai, o maunala. Kai, o maunala. Oh.
All right, there we go. Yeah, Pussycat. No, a lot of times Pussycat's got some crazy stories, but that's just because Pussycat's from Florida. That's not. It's not because he's trying to mess with our minds. It's because Florida's trying to mess with our minds. He's just telling us what's going on. I've never known Puzzy to give us a story that wasn't somewhat verifiable. I just needed some clarification about where them there monkeys were found before I understood fully what he was trying to say. But, yeah, so let's see here. What was it yesterday? See, Honda, yesterday you guys had a surprise thunderstorm, caused a lot of extra traffic. Oh, I bet. And Darlene, your plumeria is still in bloom. I'm so super stoked. I'm so super jealous, but I'm also so super stoked. Darlene, you see, has managed to get her plumeria to bloom, and well, I managed to kill mine. Took me 3 years, but I killed it. I killed it good. Oh, yes, indeedly do. I killed it good. And, you know, speaking of things that got killed real good, did you know that apparently there was a time... Oh, wait, we had an otter attack. You guys, I'm telling you, otters are not nice. We had an otter attack at a lake this weekend along with a gator in a pool, and 2 bikers hit a gator on the interstate and crashed into it. Hold on. Let's rewind. An otter attack at the lake. Who did the otter attack? They didn't attack a gator, did they? And then there was a gator in a pool. Okay, well, that happens. I mean, it's not cool, but that happens. And then 2 bikers hit a gator on the interstate and crashed into it. Did the gator live, I wonder? And primarily with Rick's help and care, he's good with plants too, says Darlene, so she's not taking all the credit. You know what, Honda, maybe that's what the problem is. You've killed many plants, especially plumerias. I've killed a couple plants, including plumerias. Maybe plumerias just need 2 people to take care of them. So we're single plant mothers. We can't just... Plumerias are just too complicated for single plant mothers. They need a mom and a dad. It's not our fault, C. Honda. We could only provide a mother's love, but plumerias need both a mother and a father, apparently. So, I guess Rick and Darlene are going to have to open a greenhouse for wayward plumerias. Wisconsin's Wayward Plumeria House. Hosted by Rick and Darlene. That's what's going to happen. And let's see here. You were happier thinking the monkey and the cobras were actually kicking it under some granny's dryer. It sounded more Florida. I know, right? That's, once again, it's kind of why I had to clarify. Your wildflowers are up again and just green again. Well, at least they're alive. And otters are in the lake and rivers and are usually left alone, but they will attack you. Absolutely, they will attack you. And otters will go out of their way to let you know that they know that you're standing on the shore. I know that because I had an angry otter come tell at me to just step a little bit back. Don't touch the red velvet rope. Step away from the red velvet rope. You don't belong here. Step back, young lady. I'm going to cross the red velvet rope to let you know to get away from the red velvet rope. Yeah, I was standing on the shore of the water. I wasn't even in the water, man. And this family of otters I was watching them, man. Okay, I admit I was watching the family of otters. Well, apparently the enforcer in the family of otters didn't really like that I was watching them. And so the enforcer got halfway out of the water up onto the shore to chase me away. Just like, there is nothing to see here. You don't need to be here. There's nothing to see here. And you know what? That's right. There wasn't. I turned and I left. I said, he brings up some good points. Really? I don't know the context of what it is that's going down. So do I need to be witness to it? Do I need to be a party to it? No. No, I don't need to be here. And let's see here. With all the rain we've been getting lately, along with your coffee grounds, I'm getting a second batch of blooms in your rose bushes. Nice, but wait, what? Your roses don't roses bloom all the time? I mean, not all the time, like in the middle of January or something, but like, aren't they always in bloom during the summer? They don't keep growing? Because all the roses in my area, like during the summer, they've always got flowers on them. Sometimes the flowers die, but then other flowers show up. And, let's see here. I didn't know otters were by you also, but yep, they can be nasty. So can beavers. I'm telling you a fact. If get too close to the lodging or dam, they will get so defensive. I didn't know that. No, I've never run across a beaver, but actually I'm pretty sure beavers are larger than otters. Otters, by the way, are much larger than you might think. And there is no, I would freak out if I saw a beaver, I think, even though I have no reason. I mean, I don't know until right now you said, yeah, maybe you should be afraid of them. I've had nobody tell me that before, but instinctively I feel like, they moved their lumberjacks. Do you really want to mess with a lumberjack? I don't want to mess with a lumberjack. They know how to use weapons, and they're strong because they move logs. So, yeah, no. And let's see here. If there were thundering herds of wildebeest in Florida, it would be news to you. And yes, I did encounter the otter mafia, I think. It's the height of gator mating season, and a gator wandered onto the interstate, and the bikers were in a group when the last couple of bikers didn't see it and hit it. I don't know if the gator survived. And otters can get rabies. Oh, I don't even want to think about how crazy a rabies-infested otter would be, because otters are already a little bit crazy. And Pinnell, right, I've seen a beaver dam from a distance because my father said so. Exactly. That just seems, yeah. And Darlene tells me roses have a peak season though, and gradually can taper off. Then at times we'll get another spurt. Oh, see, I have no idea about any of these things. And let's see here. Y'all are my background for heads down menu configuration for my brother's restaurant. Heads down menu configuration. This is fiendishly difficult when you have conditionals. You know, Shock, I feel like you wrote that in English. I do feel like I've just read English words. I just read English words. I don't know what you mean. What's a heads down menu? What's a menu configuration? What's a heads down menu configuration? What's a conditional with a uppercase C? So confused. But what I do know, I eat combo shrimp is extra. So having chicken and beef, putting them together so customer can only select correctly. You're talking about an online menu, I guess? So, combo shrimp is extra. So it's having chicken and beef, putting them together. What kind of... I think I understand... I think I understand what you're doing now, but now I have to ask, what kind of restaurant is he making? What kind of restaurant is he opening? What kind of food is he fooding? And the like. And let's see here, Darlene, they are decent sized beavers. At first they warn you, swimming up close and slapping their tails on the surface of the water. Then they take it up a notch if you don't take their warning seriously, and boy, can they destroy a lot of trees and brush very quickly. Yes, absolutely. And I know that they're big. And the reason why I know that they're big is because I was on a hike once. And let me emphasize to you the important word in that. I was on a hike once. I was on a legit real hike. Once. And on this hike, we had to go through a meadow. And at the meadow... or next to the trail going through the meadow, there were these trees that had been clearly eaten by beavers. But, dude, like, it was like 3 and 4 feet. The stumps were like 3 and 4 feet tall, which meant that the beaver was tall enough to get its mouth 3 or 4 feet off the ground to chop the thing down. I always assumed that beavers chop trees down from much closer to the ground, because I thought that they were much closer to the ground. But no, apparently beavers can stand up real tall, which means they must be real long in order to, again, upwardly mobile their real tall, long self to get 4 feet above ground level to start chewing on a stump. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And so it's a Burmese restaurant existing, but a new outlet for it. Got it. And Kenny from the Cove, I know your pain. I hate it when I get confused by the English language. Very much so. And then, of course, you can't forget, says Fuzzy Cat, the hogs, the feral hogs that are destroying landscape in the subdivision that are on the edge of the woods. That's right. Can't forget that. Cannot forget that. But, you know, maybe if the people in the subdivision next to the woods start hunting feral hogs, then they can have barbecues all summer. Yeah, they'll get up high when necessary. Yes, exactly. We had to beaver-proof some trees in the shoreline up north one year. Yeah, dude, they can get up. I was very, very... I was confused about what I was seeing. But the only explanation had to have been beavers, because nothing else leaves teeth mark on stumps this big around. And the guy that I was with at first was like, no, that's not beavers, it's too tall. But then eventually he did concede that it looked like it might have been. And it's like, don't you can see the teeth marks. Don't even... I mean, I realize it's weird that it's that tall, but look at the teeth marks. What else is it? What, you think some chipmunk went halfway up a tree and started with his little bitty teeth and started eating it? What? Makes no sense. And they want to open bear season again because of a deadly attack in Florida. I'm surprised, actually, Pussycat, that they don't have bear season in Florida anyway, because, Darlene, not only does Pussycat have a little bit of everything down there, the black bear, so Pussycat doesn't have, let's rephrase that. In theory, there are no grizzly bears in the wild in Florida. Grizzly bears do not belong in Florida, and from my understanding, do not live there, even accidentally. Black bears, however, are totally native to Florida. And not only that, the black bears in Florida are the largest variety of black bears that you're going to find in the continental United States, or actually even in Alaska, in the United States, because there is no hibernation season. They might snoozle a little bit, but they don't snoozle for as long as the ones that have to, for the whole winter, go underground and, do their snoozles. Their hibernation season either doesn't exist or is super small, which means they have more time of the year to grow big, to get bigger. And so Florida black bears are the biggest variety of black bears in the United States. And while black bears are the most docile of the bears you're going to find in the United States, that doesn't mean they're docile. It just means you'd rather run into a black bear than a grizzly bear. You'd rather run into a black bear than a polar bear. That's all that means. It doesn't mean they're cuddly. It does mean they're cute, but all bears are cute, right? And there you go, Pussycat. You see them up in the trees, asleep. Exactly. And the bears, according to Terry in Scotland, the bears in Florida are irritable due to a lack of sleep. Hey there, Thomas the Turtle. Oh, you're hot up there in your East Coast high humidityville. How is the air quality where you're at, Mr. Man? We've been thinking, I've been thinking that people in your area are probably best to stay inside because it's all smoky out there. And Thomas Turtle, everybody's got AC. Yeah, not everybody does. And I feel sorry for those people, but it sounds like you do. So that is awesome. And Pussycat, the bears get hit by cars a lot. Okay, I guess then hunting season does happen in its own weird way. And Darlene, black bears are highly dangerous too. Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying they're not dangerous. I'm just saying in a relative scheme, they're the least dangerous. Doesn't mean they're not dangerous. Hear any bear noises or see tracks up north, leave as quickly and quietly as possible. Don't draw any attention. Interesting. Now, I have heard that you want to make noise for the bears so you don't surprise them, because surprising the bears is not on your friendly list of things to do. But then again, that's just bells on your legs. No, that's exactly it. Yeah, you do want to make noise to let them know that human is near, human is coming. If you don't want to be near a human, you can go right now, because human doesn't know you are around, but you know that the human is. And the scat of the black element of truth to that, says scat. It says shock. The scat of the black bear is small and round. The scat of the grizzly bear is full of little bells. There might be some truth to that. But because grizzlies are more quantifiably more dangerous than black bears. That doesn't mean black bears aren't dangerous at all. But black bears, though, let's see here, hold on. Your sister, your ex-sister-in-law was just complaining about a black bear in her yard about 5 miles from your cabin. Oh, well, Rick, my best guess is you've got about 5,423 black bears closer to your cabin than the one 5 miles away. And Darlene, if you know you're going to be hiking in bear area, yes, make noise. But if you happen a closer experience, don't do anything upsetting. Become big and noisy if they're coming at you to scare them sometimes. Okay, I see what you're saying. It's like if the bear doesn't necessarily know where you're at, but you suddenly realize, why don't you just make yourself scarce real quick like a bunny? Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Oh, all right. All right, you guys, so let's see here. You guys want to learn how to steal food from Kentucky Fried Chicken? Actually, that's not really true. You wouldn't be stealing food from Kentucky Fried Chicken. You guys want to, have you guys been exposed to the truth? Have you guys been exposed to the truth? The real recipe of Kentucky Fried Chicken? Do you want to know how to make it in your house? Do you want to make Kentucky Fried Chicken in your home without having to deal with nothing? Because I think I have the recipe here, and I can share it with you. Oh, you know what? I'm going to anyway. So here we go. Boom. All right. Whoops. Hold on. No. There we go. That's what we've got, right? Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's yummy. Let's see here. Personally, I feel if I eat enough deviled eggs, the bears will run from you. Quite possibly. How did I get the recipe? The recipe has been circulating online, Darlene, for a couple years now. The Kentucky Fried Chicken Corporation insists it is not correct. And to a degree, they are right, but with a couple minor tweaks, it is basically the exact same recipe. So this gentleman here is a nephew of the original Colonel Sanders, and he was going through a scrapbook of his mom's, I think. And in that scrapbook, he saw a handwritten recipe for the chicken. And here is that handwritten recipe, but I'm going to do this instead. Poop. This is basically, this is the same recipe with a couple notes and caveats. So you've got yourself 2/3 of a tablespoon, or excuse me. All right. So first off, you've got 2 cups of white flour. So that's what you start with, is the 2 cups of white flour. And before you make your little flour, before you make the flour, you're going to want to soak your chicken in buttermilk. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, soaking chicken in buttermilk makes a huge difference in the texture of the meat. And also the flavor of the meat, but mostly the texture. So if there's ever a recipe, chicken or otherwise, where it's like, dude, soak it in buttermilk. For real, soak it in the buttermilk. It does matter. Not milk, buttermilk is actually, it's the enzymes and the acidity in the buttermilk that makes a difference. So you're soaking your chicken in the buttermilk right now. That's what we've got. You've got your chicken chopped up and it's soaking in the buttermilk. And now you got yourself some 2 cups of white flour, 2/3 of a teaspoon salt, 1/2 of a teaspoon thyme, 1/2 of a teaspoon basil, 1/3 of a teaspoon oregano, 1 teaspoon celery salt, 1 teaspoon black pepper, 1 teaspoon dried mustard, 4 teaspoons paprika, 2 teaspoons garlic salt, 1 teaspoon ground ginger, and 3 teaspoons white pepper. Now, those are all the spices. The only thing that's missing from this recipe that Kentucky Fried Chicken does use, even though they don't admit it, or won't admit it, is MSG. If you make that without MSG, it's almost right. But everyone who's made this recipe and then adds some MSG to that flour mixture, suddenly, boom, it's exactly the same. And Kenny from the Cove, you've been told the original recipe KFC is cooked in a pressure cooker. Yes and no. That is eventually what ended up happening. But the original sit-down restaurant for Kentucky Fried Chicken was actually just regular, not really deep frying, but pan frying. But it took a half an hour to cook one chicken. And so they wanted to speed things up. And so they started using the pressure fryers. So and to this day, they use pressure fryers. So absolutely, it is a smidge different because it's not prepared in a pressure fryer. However, the original also wasn't. And ultimately, the flavor of the breading, and now remember, you guys, this isn't the extra crispy. This is just the original recipe. Apparently, this is really spot on. And so, with the oil temperature right at 350, the chicken soaked in buttermilk and coated once in the breading mixture, which is the flour mixture, and that's how you do it. And then it says that you get better results if you add the MSG to the batter. And I haven't tried it yet, mostly because I'm a really crummy fried chicken maker. Like, I can fry a wing and I can fry a drumstick, but I haven't mastered thighs or breasts yet. They never get cooked all the way in the meat without me somehow burning the breading. And I understand it's an issue of temperature control. I get it. I just don't, I haven't mastered that yet. So, and then let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, how much MSG? Honestly, I don't know. You're probably going to, want to experiment with that, but here, Darlene, I put it back up, and yeah, I will. Okay, cool. You screen copied it, Rick. Okay, I will post this for sure on the Discord so you guys can try it. And the thing is actually, you don't have to try this breading on chicken. You can try it on fish. I'm guessing you could probably try it on chicken nuggets or whatever, whatever. Or you could just have it on drumsticks and wings, because if that's the only thing you know how to cook. But I think that flavor profile, from what I know about how things taste, like, yeah, absolutely, all of those flavors are very much in the original recipe. All right, Darlene, awesome. You go tell your sister you've got the KFC original recipe now, and she'll see how much she'll pay you for it. But the only thing that really kind of caught me off guard was ginger. I never had placed the ginger in there, but I'm not at all surprised that there is a little bit of ginger in there. And KFC toast, I don't know, why not? I mean, shoot, dude, people bread and deep fry Twinkies and Oreos, right? I mean, why not a piece of toast? I don't think you should bread and deep fry Oreos with this recipe, though. That would be a little weird. But yeah, I hope that you guys, experiment with that and see if you can come up with your own. And if it does taste enough like the Kentucky Fried Chicken, you can impress your family and friends with your secret knowledge. And also, ultimately, for people who are gluten-free, you can probably substitute gluten-free flour for the for that spice mixture. And yeah, allergies just came in and swept that thought away. So we're not going to talk about that anymore. Yeah, all right. And let's see here. Kenny, you cook your chicken in an air fryer. You get some Ono barbecue chicken from it, but haven't actually tried fried chicken in your air fryer yet. I honestly don't see how a fried chicken with wet batter would work in an air fryer. I feel like it would have to be. I don't have an air fryer, so I don't know. But all the things that like you usually put in an air fryer that are fried are already sort of pre-cooked. You know what I mean? I can't imagine how putting a wet batter in an air fryer would turn out. Has anybody ever tried that? I don't have an air fryer, so I haven't, but it seems like it would be messy. I would probably want to use parchment. Is there, once again, okay, you put a parchment in the liner in the cooking basket, but are there any warnings about wet battered cooking? Your toaster oven is also an air fryer. You've made chips in it. Right, okay, but when you say chips, I'm assuming you mean French fries or maybe even potato chips. Those don't have a batter on them, right? So the Kentucky Fried Chicken stuff, it kind of has a batter. I mean, it's not a batter proper, but it's very wet. So do you think that would work in an air fryer? Because I feel like I don't know enough about anything with air fryers. Like, can you do a tempura in the air fryer? Or I feel like there's got to be a little asterisk. Like, don't be putting wet stuff in the air fryer. But I don't know. I don't have an air fryer. Anyone? They just tell you to put the parchment in, maybe? I don't know. I don't know nothing. And let's see here. And so when you say you make some barbecue chicken from it, does that just mean you coat? Oh, I'm so confused. How do you barbecue anything in an air fryer? Yeah, no, that's, yeah, maybe you just use well, yeah, I mean, that's how you fry chicken. It's just with oil in a pan. You don't need a deep fryer. You don't need a pressure cooker. That's how I would prepare it, is with oil in a pan. But I'm just feeling like if you did it with parchment on the bottom, it would, it wouldn't seem to have the same texture as if it was touching the hot air, I guess. That's all I'm trying to say. Your barbecue chicken is just barbecue sauce on the chicken thigh. Okay. Those giant coffee filter looking parchment liners catch all the wetness. Got it. Okay. So, yeah. So, see, I don't think of barbecue chicken as... Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. I don't like barbecue sauce, so I don't, that when you say like yeah, I don't like barbecue sauce. I like barbecue chicken a whole lot, but not with any kind of sauce on it. So now I understand what you mean. Yeah, barbecue is in quotes. Yeah, I forget that people consider things with barbecue sauce on them to be barbecue. I don't eat barbecue sauce. It's gross. So barbecue sauce is just gross. So I just don't eat it. Anyway, yeah. So let's see here. And I'm going to DC this weekend, and I'm going to demand a fort ton of expensive Burmese food. Brad just went asked me to look at 4 more items for him. Oh yeah, totally, dude. Get your most bang for your buck. And in fact, get money from him that I'm not getting from my client. Because here's the deal, y'all. I have a client who hasn't paid me since January, and I went to go pick up the check today from his office because I have keys to his office, and I told him I'd be doing that. And there's a big old padlock keeping me out of the office. So I guess I'm not getting my $1,200 that he owes me. So why don't you get $1,200 of food out of your guy, and I'll just pretend like I've been paid via from it. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a mood today. I'm not only stupid because of the because of the allergies, I'm also just pissed. Not at you guys. Not at you guys at all. I love you guys. In fact, you guys were helping me get unpissed. Yes. And I was going to teach you how to make a different kind of food too, but I guess we're going to have to wait on that. Because I have the recipe for Chef Boyardee's original spaghetti sauce. And before you gag and go, I don't want that, let me just tell you, the original spaghetti sauce actually looks like spaghetti sauce, okay? It doesn't look like this, all right? I know that Chef Boyardee products look like this, but back in the day when Chef Boyardee was actually a real chef at a real restaurant in a real city, his spaghetti was good and looked like this. So, I can teach you how to do that, but I have to wonder. Yeah, Pussycat, don't get pissed, get even. I'm on the verge of that. And yes, we have our 2-minute warning. So in that 2 minutes, my question for you guys is, do you know where Chef Boyardee first got his start? What city did he have his world famous spaghetti recipe come out of? You might be surprised to know what city it is. But we still have 2 minutes left, Terry in Scotland, so hold on. I want to thank everybody who's been here for chattering. I want to thank the subs and the resubs. I want to thank the mods for being here. I don't think we had any moderation work, but if you did it so gosh darn quick, I didn't even notice it. So thank you. And C Honda is sitting here, I had no idea. And then I was like, duh. And those are probably some of the most correct answers you could give, because my best guess is no one is going to say Cleveland. Cleveland. You know, in Ohio? Cleveland, Ohio. Rick coming in with the Midwest knowledge. Rick, I'm going to assume you won Midwest Man, so you know. You didn't Google it, did you? Of course you Googled it. Yep, Cleveland, Ohio is where the Chef Boyardee guy came about. And, Italian immigrant, yes. Hector Boiardi, yes. And so, next, what day is it today? Is today Wednesday? Okay, so Sunday, we will find out just how to make the Chef Boyardee spaghetti sauce that made him world famous. Oh, of course you Googled it. And on Saturday, hopefully we will all see each other on the Map Statter. Hold on, let's do it. Map. God dang it. Map. I can't make my pee pop. All right, Map. There we go. Map Statter Twitch page. And I have no real idea what movie we're going to be watching. So there you go. And let's see here. Mama Sean. Yes, spaghetti was a big thing there when Dr. Steve was there. All right, so Dr. Steve coming with, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you guys, honestly, the spaghetti sauce recipe is not anything like what ended up in that can, okay? Okay. SpaghettiOs is kid food. Don't get me wrong, Pussycat, I'm right on your page, but it did not start that way. It started as very grown up. And Shock, data, hard drive? No, not yet. I haven't gone to pick it up because I don't have any money right now to pay for it. This is what it boils down to. So I don't. My client not paying me has screwed my entire financial life up. So no, I don't have it yet. Nope. It's one of many things that are pissing me off right now. So yeah. Anyway, so on that note, we're not eating SpaghettiOs. We're going to be eating the real spaghetti meal next Sunday. But Saturday, we're going to be watching something. And in the meantime, hopefully you guys can breathe easy. Hopefully the dust won't be too bad. Hopefully the smoke will clear. And hopefully the allergies will be mild and minor. All right, you guys, we're 1 minute late. So thank you so much. Have the great rest of the week. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out because my brain is literally stuttering. It's like one step behind of where my mouth is trying to be. Whew. I need to take a Benadryl or something. Not that that's going to help me get smarter, but maybe it will. I know, right, Chuck? This is different. It feels different to me. It may not be different to you. Have a good one, y'all. We'll see each other soon. Take care. Enjoy the rest.